आजको टपिक छ आज अप्रोच टु एनिमिया एन्ड आइरन डेफिसिएन्सी anemia. Reduction of RBC volume or hemoglobin concentration below the value occurring in healthy person, that is below the 2 standard deviation of the mean for normal population age and 6. So it's different in different age group. For example, in Tom babies, the normal hemoglobin is 16.5 gram per deciliter. So similarly, in like 2 to 6 years, hemoglobin normal level is 12.5. So here's the table. So approach to a child with pallors. First of all, when we see what is pallor, we see skin, we can see in the nail bed, we can see in the mucous membrane. So the color of the skin depends on variation in hemoglobin and its concentration with oxygen, blood supply, melanin, keratin, and skin texture. So pallor, it is the paleness of the skin, mucous membrane, and it is not a disease, it is the clinical sign of various pathophysiological process. For anemia, as in anemia, pallor, we can see pallor, it is mainly due to reduced RBC volume or reduced hemoglobin. While in shock or syncopal attack, there is peripheral vasoconstriction, so we can see pale. So in case of hyperpituitarism, we can see pale because of the decreased melanin activity. While we can also see pale in case of the hypothyroidism and carotid overeating, that is hypercarotinemia. And normally we can see pale in the person who has a thick and opaque skin. So as per the WHO criteria, anemia can be defined as in children 12 gram per deciliter. So WHO also has graded anemia as mild, moderate, and severe as per the hemoglobin level. So when the and if the hemoglobin level is less than 10, we can anemia. Clinical grading as per the hemoglobin level. Now we can also grade the anemia as per the clinical observation. Evenly conjunctiva and mucous membrane. So we can call it as a mild anemia. In case of moderate anemia, we can see not only in the conjunctiva and the mucous membrane, we can also see the skin pale. But in severe anemia, we can see above features along with the palmar crease. The palmar crease that we see, that is also we can see it as a pale. So classification of anemia, we can classify anemia as per the relative anemia and absolute anemia. So relatively, the main causes are nutritional deficiency, pregnancy, splenomegaly. While in absolute anemia, there is various pathophysiological process. For example, first is decreased RBC production, or there is increase in the destruction, or if there is losses of RBC, then there is anemia. So when there is a decreased RBC production, so the causes are aplastic anemia, myelodysplastic syndrome, pure red cell aplasia, anemia of chronic renal failure. So if there is decrease in RBC production also, then there is anemia. So the mechanism is when there is a disturbance of DNA synthesis, then we have anemia that is mainly due to vitamin B12 deficiency and folic acid deficiency. If there is disturbance in hemoglobin synthesis, then it is mainly due to iron deficiency anemia or thalassemia. There are some other multiple mechanism which is unknown, that is that can cause anemia, as for in anemia of chronic disease or anemia associated with bone marrow infiltration. If there is an increased RBC destruction or increased loss of RBC, then also it can cause anemia. So we can divide it in intrinsic and extrinsic causes. So intrinsic causes means if there is a defect in RBC membrane defect, then there is also anemia. The causes are hereditary spherocytosis, elliptocytosis, acanthocytosis. If there is a deficiency in enzyme like G6PD deficiency, protein kinase deficiency, if there is a globulin defect, then sickle cell anemia or PNS, these all can cause anemia. So extrinsic causes, what are the extrinsic causes? That is maybe due to mechanical or antibody associated, mediated or other causes. So mechanical causes, there is March hemoglobinuria, microangiopathic hemolytic anemia as HUS TTP, antibody mediated anemia as warm and cold autoantibody mediated hemolytic anemia, alloimmune hemolytic disease of the newborn. And infection also can cause anemia as in malaria. So how do we approach the patient who is having pallor? So first of all, we will go through the age. If the child presented with the pallor less than 3 months, then we have to think of the causes. What are the causes? The most common causes are pure red cell aplasia. After 3 months, the most common cause is thalassemia. If male person is affected, then we have to think of G6PD deficiency because it is a X-linked disease, and other causes also cause anemia, and we have to ask whether the patient is having cow milk just other than breastfeed, just totally depend on the cow milk. Then we have to think of iron deficiency anemia. If the child is predominantly on goat milk diet based, then we have to think of folic acid and deficiency. So in case of the adolescents, gall and growth spurt, we have to think of iron deficiency. And if the patient is pure vegetarian, then there is vitamin B12 deficiency can cause anemia. So in history, we have to ask about the history of jaundice also, because if there is a history of jaundice along with anemia and splenomegaly, we have to think of hemolytic anemia. If the child has a anemia along with the fever, weight loss, hepatosplenomegaly, and lymphadenopathy, we have to think of chronic disease as malignancy, connective tissue disease, malaria, tuberculosis. And if the patient has anemia along with hypertension and edema, we have to think that anemia is due to renal disease. So, are you getting my class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, investigation. What are the investigation we can do in a patient who presented with the pallor? So we have to do the, first of all, we have to do the complete blood count. So in case of complete blood count, what we will say? So hemoglobin is the first thing. We already know that if the hemoglobin is less than 11 gram per deciliter in male and female to less than 12 gram per deciliter, it is anemia. We label it as a anemia. So hemoglobin level will be decreased in peripheral smear. We can see either microcytic, normocytic, or macrocytic anemia. It depends upon. No, if there we have to also see the red ticks. So in case, what is the normal reticulocyte counts in neonate? It is 2 to 6% in neonate, and in case of the children, normal value is 0.5 to 2%. So how to calculate the corrected retic counts? So here is the value, the formula you can see. And others investigation we have to see are RBC indices as MCV, MCS, MCSC, RD, red cell distribution width. So if the patient is presented with the hemolysis, that means reticulocyte will be high, more than 5%. Percent, 6%. So then the investment is global blood in a patient who presented with pallor. It may be microcytic, normocytic, or macrocytic. So what are the causes of microcytic anemia? So here are the causes. As most common causes of microcytic anemia in children is iron deficiency anemia. Next is lead poison, thalassemia, sideroblastic anemia, anemia of chronic disease, connective tissue disease. And what are the causes of macrocytic? The most common causes vitamin B12 deficiency and folic acid deficiency. So not only these things, drugs also can cause macrocytic anemia. The patient who is having phenytoin, 6-mercapurine, and endocrine also, hypothyroidism can also cause macrocytic anemia and in Down syndrome. So what are the causes of normocytic anemia? There is not dysplasia. Okay. Now we will go through iron deficiency anemia. So if iron deficiency occurs when erythropoiesis is diminished because of the less total body iron. So it is widespread and most common nutritional disorders in the world. So what are the causes of iron deficiency anemia? The causes are either due to diminished intake of the iron or increased demand of the iron in the body or diminished dietary absorption or increased loss of iron. So the diminished intake means usually that dietary deficiency in case of the children. So it can cause the iron deficiency anemia. So if there is increased demand as in the puberty age, and if there is diminished dietary absorption, for example, if we give the iron along with the calcium phytate or this phosphate, the absorption of the iron will be decreased. So we usually say if we prescribed iron to the patient, then we say don't give iron along with these things or milk also, because it can decrease the absorption of the iron. Or if there is increased loss of the iron, maybe in the form of so if there is active bleeding or other GI causes as cow milk protein allergy, peptic ulcer, hookworm infestation, these also can increase the loss of iron. So due to this, erythropoiesis will decrease. As a result, anemia will occur. So how do they present if the child is having iron deficiency anemia? So they will present as poor feeding, anorexia, irritability, poor school performance. Some children parents will complain the child is having tiredness, lassitude, easy fatigability, weakness, or some may complain as headache, fainting, humming of ear, tinnitus, lack of concentration. So these all are the clinical features of iron deficiency anemia. So other features we can see is cholinergia, platynergia. If general examination, if we see, then the child may present it as we know pallor due to the anemia. Also there is the child may have palpitation, tachycardia, dyspnea. And if we go through the systemic examination, cardiovascular, we can see murmur, that is ejection systolic murmur, or in the pulmonary area, which we call it as a hemic murmur also. So in case of congestive cardiac failure also, we can, the child may present it with the features of the CCF also. So here we can, in this picture, here we can see the child having various grading of the pallor. So we can see here in the picture that the palmar crease is also very pale. That means severe anemia. So in this we can see cholinergia. Okay. So we already know what are the investigation we have to go through if the child is presented with the pallor. So similarly here also in our child who is having iron deficiency anemia, we have to do the following investigation. So what else, what we can find if the child has iron deficiency anemia? So obviously hemoglobin level will be decreased, and we also know that it is the most common cause of the iron deficiency anemia, can cause the microcytic hypochromic anemia. So due to this, the MCV, MCH, MCSC all will reduce. Red cell distribution will increase. What is the normal value of the RDW? It's 8 to 13. So if we do the iron level, it will decrease. Normally iron level should be above 50 gram per deciliter. So it will decrease. As a result, stored iron, that is serum ferritin, is also decreased, and transferrin saturation will also decrease. The normal transferrin saturation should be 25 to 50%. Okay, and due to this, the TIBC will increase. So nowadays we also can, this is a new test in order to find the iron deficiency anemia. So that is the reticulocyte hemoglobin concentration. So from this test also this will decrease. So this is the one of the definite tests for the iron deficiency anemia. which is not available in our country. So what are the treatment that we can give in the patient with iron deficiency anemia? So first of all, we have to identify the causes of the anemia, whether what else can cause. So we already have discussed the causes of anemia. So once we find out that it is the iron deficiency anemia also, then also we have to find the cause also. So we have, first of all, we have to find the cause and treat. So most in Nepal or in the developing country, the most common cause of deficiency anemia is hookworm infestation. So we have to treat it first. And next thing is dietary counsel. So mainly the child who is having iron deficiency anemia, if we give the iron, then what dietary counsel we can give? That we have to give like give the oral iron in between foods and or empty stomach. Don't give with the milk or calcium, because it can decrease the absorption of the iron. So the dose of the oral iron is, in case of the IDA, 6 mg per kg per day for 1 month, then after 3 mg per kg per day for 3 months. So after this also, the hemoglobin level is corrected, we can also prescribe iron level up to 3 to 4 months, like we can give up to 6 months to 12 months also. So not only oral iron, we can also treat with parenteral iron. So what is the indication of the parenteral iron? Generally, parenteral iron, it's if we give the parenteral iron, it is there are many other side effects. So usually prefer the oral iron, but indication of the parenteral iron, if the patient is having intolerance to the oral iron and the patient is having severe iron deficiency anemia, then we have to give IV iron. Other indication are in iron malabsorption syndrome, or if there is ongoing blood loss at a rate where oral replacement is not enough to compensate. So in this case, we can give parenteral iron. So iron, we can also give IM, but IV is preferred over IM. So how to calculate the IV iron? So here is the formula. You can see. So after giving or after prescription iron therapy to the patient, so how will you know whether the iron that was giving is responsive or no? So these are the changes we can see. So after the administration of the iron, within 12 to 24 hours, there will be replacement of the intracellular iron enzyme, and clinically we can see the child has decreased irritability and increased appetite. After 36 to 48 hours, the changes that initial bone marrow response will occur. So in that case, erythroid hyperplasia will occur. After 48 to 72 hours, there will occur and hemoglobin will, and 4 to 30 days, there is an increase in hemoglobin, gradually increase in hemoglobin level. So after 1 to 3 months only, there is the repletion of the store, that is ferritin will increase. So in case of the iron deficiency anemia, not only iron, we also can transfuse blood. So blood transfusion is given only in case if there is the patient who is having iron deficiency anemia and who needs urgent surgery. In that case, we need blood transfusion. If the patient is with hypertension, if the patient treated with congestion with severe anemia, in that case we can. But in the patient with CCF, we have to be very careful while giving blood transfusion. So usually the volume that we transfuse is 10 to 15 ml per kg. But in this case, we have to be very careful. So we will give blood at 2 to 3 ml per kg with monitoring, and IV furosemide is given at 1 mg per kg in between transfusion. And other indication is if the then expected rise in hemoglobin. In this case or in this scenario, we can transfuse blood in a patient with iron deficiency anemia. So class, is there any question or queries?